Okay, I wanted to do a video on temperature. For anybody that knows me knows I'm pretty new to painting, and I like to watch a lot of videos, other artists, and I've seen tons of people talk about temperature, but when they talk about it, it just kind of goes over my head. They're like too far advanced for me, and it was confusing and a little frustrating. They'll have a palette of colors. They got 6 warm colors, 6 cool colors, and I just didn't grasp what they were talking about. So I thought I'd make my own video because I like to break it down to the very basics, and we can build from there. And this is the very basics, the 3 primary colors, yellow, blue, and red. Okay, so we'll start with blue. Blue is a cool color. You think of snow, everybody paints snow or ice. They always use blue as a shadow. I think of blue skies, the cool breeze. So we can all agree this is a cool color. So we'll put a little C right here. Cool color. Okay, let's go over here to red. When I think of red, I think of molten lava coming out of a volcano. I think of a wood stove when I was a kid. We'd get it so hot, it'd be glowing red. So that's definitely a warm color. So let's put a little W over here, warm. Okay, now that leaves us with what do we do with yellow? Uh, and this is where it becomes confusing for me because I've watched some artists, they'll be painting and they're saying they're going to put a little yellow in it to warm it up. But I was scratching my head, I couldn't figure out what they meant by yellow being a warm color. And I'll show you what I mean. We know if we mix yellow with red, we get orange. So let's put it as a little orange up here. Okay, so we've taken yellow, we mixed it with the red, we got a secondary color of orange. This is this would be a warm color since it's got a lot of this red in here. Now let's take yellow and blue and mix those together. And you mix yellow and blue together, you get green. That's another secondary color. Green is classified a cool color. So yellow and blue makes a cool color. Yellow and red makes a warm color. And if you can see the color wheel here, we got 3 primary colors, the yellow, blue, and red, and we got 2 secondary, green and orange. That only leaves our 3rd secondary, which would be purple or violet, whatever you want to call it. And that would go here. This is just made up of blue and red, would give us purple. Now, like I said, I make these my own words up. I call this a neutral temperature color because since purple is made up of a warm color and a cool color, it's not really warm or cool, so it'd be kind of a neutral color. The same with yellow, because if you mix it with red, it is a warm color. You mix it with blue, it becomes a cool color. So if you're looking at the color wheel, the dividing line for the temperature is between yellow and purple. Everything over here would be warm colors, and everything over here would be cool colors. Now you can imagine if you mix these 2 together and get a yellowish green, mix these 2 and get a bluish green, and continue that all the way around the color wheel, you can have 100 different colors in here. But the dividing line would be here, and everything on this side would be warm, and everything on this side would be cool. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, all right, Ron, well, what about brown? And what about gray? Let's talk about those. Basic art, everyone knows if you mix your 3 primary colors together, your blue, yellow, and red, 1/3 blue, 1/3 yellow, 1/3 red, you get brown. That gives you your brown. We'll put that right here in the middle of our color wheel. Okay, so I got my brown, and I'm going to add a little titanium white to it just so we can see the colors in it. And we're going to put our brown right down here. Light brown, tan, whatever you want to call it. This is just made up of the 3 primary colors. Now, is it a warm color or a cool color? Well, and again, like I said, I'm just making words up as I go. I call this a neutral temperature color. Why? Because it's made up of a cool color, a cool primary, a warm primary, and it's also made up of a neutral temperature primary, which yellow. I call it a neutral temperature because it's neither warm nor cold in my book. Okay, so we got our tan, light brown down here. It is a neutral temperature. However, if we was to take our tan and add a little red to it, or anything on this side of the wheel, and now we have a warm brown. Straighten that up. Same brown mixture, I just added it, something from this side of the color wheel to give us a warm brown. Okay, now let's take our brown and add something from the cool side. That should give us a cool brown. A little brown here with a little blue. Okay, now what I did here, I got the brown, our light brown, I added some blue in here, and now we have a cool brown because we added something from this side of the color wheel. Again, the dividing line is between the yellow and the purple. Everything over here is cool, everything over here would be warm. And we can do the same thing with gray. We all know gray is just made up of white and black. I kind of have a lighter gray here. It's just white and black. Now, again, I call just a plain gray neutral temperature. It's neither warm or cold or cool, all right? But if we was to take this gray and add one of these colors on this side of the color wheel, we take our gray and add some red. Now red's kind of hard, one of those hard colors for me to see. I'm thinking I have enough in here. But now our gray becomes a warm gray because we chose something from this side of the color wheel. We can take that same gray and add a color from the left side over on the cool side, whether it be blue or green. And now we would have a cool gray. Okay, there you have it. Now, I might get some of these colors a little off. I do have trouble seeing some colors. I can see I get a little bit too much yellow in this gray here. It's kind of making it green, but you kind of get the picture. For me, when people talk about temperature, they talk about this side of the color wheel versus this side of the color wheel. Basically, it's red and orange as your warm temperatures versus blue and green of your cool temperatures. I may be right, I may be wrong, but this is just the way I see it. And there you have it. So thank you, take care, and God bless.